Hey everybody. Tonight I'm going to do a layout overview and a response to what I run. Earlier today I tried my hand at doing a live stream, and while it was uploading after I was done, I inadvertently deleted it, and I think about 160 people actually watched it before I deleted it. And what the topic was first of all me learning how to do a live just by playing around, but it actually came out all right for someone that had never done one. And I went over my layout. So since that was deleted, I am doing a video on it. So as you approach the layout in the basement, you're going to see right in front of you the control station. And what that has on there, if I walk up to it, it has 4 transformers. 2 of them being the Z controllers, the Z1000s. I've got 2 of those and 1 assigned to each one of my loops. I have 2 loops of track running completely around the layout. It's all steel tubular, old school. Quite a bit of it is Menards. Some of it is Lionel, which I was able to pick up at Dixie Union Station. So I run that. I also have 2 transformers that are dedicated strictly for lighting and accessories. And then these down here are the bricks that actually connect to the controller. So this is the power. The control portion of it doesn't have the power in it. It's down here. It's where the transformers are. And then on each one you have a breaker where you can reset it. And then over here I've got some controls for lighting, but those are always on. And then I've got some surge protectors where some of the plugs are plugged in. So let me describe and then let me do this first. So over to the right, then I have IKEA shelves, which they no longer make these. I used to be a vinyl record collector, so I use these shelves for vinyl records, so they come in handy for trains. So I have my engines there. Up there right now, I just have my tanker cars. And then over here, I've got my cabooses. And then on top there right now, I've got my coal cars, but usually they're down in one of the cubicles. And then over to the left, I've got a desk where I can do lubing and open up the engines if I get them, new ones, and just do maintenance on them and that kind of thing. I've got some tools. And then when I was building the layout, and some of the other tools are over here on this table next to them. Let me walk around the layout. So the portion right here that you see is an 8x10 piece of plywood that's framed, and then legs on it. And it has no covering or no buildup underneath. It just has the wood and then this indoor-outdoor carpet on top. This is one of the things that I wish I would have done, is under the track, I wish I would have put road bed. Because I have, and not on this because I don't have foam board under here. So, but on the other section I have foam board, and what happens is when you screw down the track, it wants to sink into the foam board. So you should always put some road bed underneath your track, but I did not. So that is one thing I would do differently. I would also build a layout that was wider, because this one is 4 foot wide here, and it does not allow me to do some of the curves that I would like to do radius wise. So what I've had to do, I put a board here, just a makeshift board, so I could extend out and make this curve a little bit bigger. If you hear my cat, that's Allison. She's behind me. So that's rigging it basically. And obviously the track is right on the edge, which you're probably thinking, my gosh, he could run an engine right over to the side. You're right, I could. It hasn't happened, but it very well could, and then the engine would go right to the concrete floor, unfortunately. and then I extended it here too with a board. So if you walk down the side here, you'll see the L part, which is that 4x8 sheet. And then that connects into the long part of the layout, which is also 4 feet wide, but it's 16 feet long. And it's various pieces of plywood all together to make the decking. One thing I would do differently is if I was doing a layout now, I would use 4x4, 4 foot by 4 foot sections of plywood, frame them, put legs on them, but then I would bolt them all together so it was more of a modular layout, so I could get them out of the basement when we decided to move. This is not a walkout basement, so you have to carry everything up the stairs. So at this point, I believe this one is a 4x4 on top, so I could salvage the plywood for that. But for the most part, I would have to tear this all down and saw it up to get everything out. So that's what I will probably have to do when we decide we're going to downsize and we're going to move. So let me come around the other side. So again, the length of the layout is 16 feet long. And then you have this section here that comes out. That is the 4x8. So when I come around, I store, like everybody else does, some of my stuff underneath the layout, and then I've got bins. And I save the boxes because I figure that if I'm going to sell things, I need to put them in a boxes, you know, because people want boxes. This is a section right here that I had actually lifted up. It was down, so I had like a valley, and I did also have a mountain here, so I removed that. I was speaking before about the foam board. The foam board is good if you're going to do scenery, painting, sculpting, like doing a lake. I tried my hand in a lake, but it's so-so. But anyway, if I had to do it over again, the foam board would not have been put on this layout. I thought about stripping it all off, but the problem is I used liquid nails on it and it would break off and everything, so I would have to sand it all off. And I would have to completely take everything off the layout to do it, and I'm not in the mood right now, at least, to do that. It's a lot of work, and so for me, it would have been better just to use the plywood and then put the indoor-outdoor carpet over it. But I had been out of model railroading for a long time, and I never built a layout even this big before. I had an O scale, or O27, when I was like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years old. It was in 2016. Actually, I may have been 10 or 12. But anyway, it was bought from Davis Electronics in Milford, Ohio, down on Main Street. They were one of the big distributor, well, not distributor, but a big train store. Over the years, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. They used to just repair TVs and electronics, but Joe Davis, the owner, was into Lionel trains. He became a Lionel distributor, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. But he passed away years ago, and that store closed down. But if you are from the area and you were in trains for a long time and are still, you would probably remember Joe Davis from Davis Electronics, Davis Trains in Milford, Ohio. But anyway, so when I walk around the other side of the layout here, that would be the wall. So I have a walkway between the layout and the wall itself, so I can walk through and take care of any kind of derailments or get around the layout itself. So I come down here. I've got a lot of Menards buildings. That's a Menards building, Menards building. Those houses there are from Amazon. And of course, more Menards, Lionel, Menards, Lionel train station, Menards coffee, and then of course the creamy whip over on the other side. I got a lot of room here on the end where I'm just storing some of my rolling stock. And what I want to do with that is get a couple more buildings just to fill it in, just to make it look a little bit better. I have contemplated ripping this layout completely down, tearing it up, sawing it up, getting rid of all of it and starting over. I mentioned that to my wife, and she did not act very pleased about that at all. And I'm not really wanting to do it. I don't want to do all the work, but I would like to have 4 loops, and so I could run a little bit of bigger trains. But I don't know how much longer we're going to be in this house, at least 5 or 6 more years. And if I tear all this down and build something big, you know, again with 5 or 4 loops, then I'm going to have to tear that down. But of course I would do it in a modular fashion, like I said before. So the jury's out on that, but at this point I don't see myself doing it. I just have the 2 loops. The 2 loops at one point did have some switches, but I had issues with derailments more with switches, so I actually eliminated them. I only had them for like the tide building and a couple of the other areas that I had, and they weren't really doing much for me. They were just deciding to bring in a train, and that was it. So I don't want an area on my layout where I have a yard, and I'm not opposed to that at all as far as for others. It's just not what I want. I want a basic layout where I can just run the trains and see them moving around. So I'm not interested in doing like switching and operations like that. Maybe if I was younger and I was getting into it and wanted to set it up different, then I would do that kind of thing, but I just don't want to invest the money or the time. And so what this layout gives me is a chance to come down and just run some trains and put some trains on it, on the layout, and listen to them click and clack, and just have some fun. Do I get bored sometimes? Yes, because, you know, it's the same thing all the time, but I have to think, you know, I'm coming down and just relaxing and having fun seeing the trains and just running them around. With that, you know, obviously that I don't have any command control or anything like that. Everything is conventional. I started out with conventional with the 027. That's what I was used to as a kid. I totally got out of trains for years. I was a fire captain and a paramedic for years, so I was busy and just wasn't interested. I was raising some kids and children, and had an N scale layout at one point. Had a let's see, I think I went N. I may have had a small HO, and that's honestly what this bench work was going to be, is an HO layout. I bought a bunch of stuff, put it away, saved it, and then got rid of it. And then the bench sat down here for a while, and I was just going to tear it apart. And then one day I was looking at videos on YouTube, and it was O gauge. And lo and behold, here I have an O gauge layout. And so the layout wasn't planned that well. Like I said, I would have done a lot of things differently. But it is what it is, and I enjoy coming down and running trains on it. I don't think it's bad. It's more of an old school layout, the way it looks. You know, I don't have big mountains, and I don't have a lot of scenery or anything, and it's all flat. So it's a basic layout just to run some trains on. And I think if I build another one, I wouldn't be into doing a lot of scenery and stuff. A lot of people are. They're artistic. They like doing that kind of thing. It looks cool, and I have to hand it to you. You guys put a lot of work and effort and time and money into your layouts, and they look awesome. And along with the command control stuff. But personally, I just don't want to spend the money on engines, you know, $1,000 engine or, you know, systems, when I can, you know, run PS1 or conventional for a lot cheaper. And but, you know, everybody runs differently, and that's no disrespect to anybody that has all that. The biggest thing that brings us all together is that we love trains, and we run our operations totally differently. It's all personal, and whatever makes us happy. Like I said, I have engines down here. I had quite a few more before, but I sold them. I have a habit of selling things when I get bored with them. And plus, I did have some passenger engines and cars, and I get bored with those because when they're going around your layout, it's the same cars all the time. All the passenger cars to me look the same. So I got tired of them, and I like more freight cars because every car is different. Every car looks different. Every box car has some different writing on it. And so I like the variety. Don't get me wrong, I love passenger trains, but push comes to shove, I would rather have freight. So I sold my passenger trains and used some of the money to buy more freight stuff, related items. So right now, 2 trains that I have on the layout are my FM Train Masters, where I just shot a couple videos today. One being the the covered hopper challenge that I had. And then like I said, I tried my hand in a live stream, and inadvertently, after it was up on my channel and over 100 and some odd views, after the live stream was done, it was like a, I don't know, 28-minute video. I inadvertently deleted it. So good job to me. So anyway, I think that is it. As far as power, how I plug in everything, it is just cords. I have a multi-plug down there, and I plug in, and then at the end I have another outlet, and I have 2 other plugs that plug in, and I have surge protectors mounted underneath the layout where any plugs or anything go in under there. I don't want to get under and show you the wiring, because if I had to do the wiring over, I would make it a lot nicer and a lot cleaner, but I didn't. Well, you know what? I'm going to show you. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if you can see the rat's nest, the mess that's under there. See all that wire? That would make somebody with OCD cringe. And then on the other side, you have strips where all the power comes in and everything. So I would have labeled all that and would have really organized it so it looked really nice. But I didn't. And if I had to do it again, that's what I would do. But it looks like a darn spider web underneath. So I'm not happy with that either, nor am I proud of that work, because it looks like a 3rd grader did it. But some of the positive things about the layout is it's basic. It's easy to manage. It doesn't take up the whole basement, and you know, it's not bad for what I'm doing right now. But would I do some stuff different? Heck yeah. Definitely modular. 4x4 sheets of plywood, framing, and then some legs, and then I would bolt them all together, and then when we moved, I could unbolt them and use what I wanted in the new place. Probably it would be smaller, but at least I can, you know, use it as a modular type thing, instead of when we move, I'm probably gonna have to just rip all this up and tear it down. I may be able to salvage a couple pieces of plywood out of it, but for the most part, I'm probably gonna have to trash it. Well, that is it, guys. That is all I have. And so I wanted to show you the layout so you knew how I ran. Pretty basic. And so if you have any questions, you can let me know. And I'll let you go. And sorry that I deleted that live, because it actually was halfway decent for being the first time. And I went over all the stuff on the layout, and I actually had trains running. And this is sort of boring for you probably, because I don't have any trains running. But that is it. Take care. Have a good evening.